So where did Freeze get these guys anyway? Was there an ad that said, "Wanted, thugs, must be skilled in hockey and stunt skating. Obedience required, enthusiasm a plus."
Welcome, Jolly Ranchers, to Geek Salad episode 149, Duck Boobs and Bat Nipples. Duck Boobs. Whoa! I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Joe.
And today we are here to count down the top 15 worst comic book-based movies of all time. This list was only made possible by our loyal listening audience and our Facebook friends and everybody else who gave a crap and gave us a bunch of movies to talk about. So, part of the criteria with these movies is that they needed to be domestically released, theatrically released movies. Mainly because I think that picking direct-to-video stuff really muddies the waters because, with budget reasons and a whole bunch of other stuff, it just...
But at least no one voted for the Captain America 1990s with the Italian Red Skull, right?
B. Mix did that. After he was told specifically, don't include rubber-eared Captain America.
Of course he did.
So real quick, we do want to just talk very briefly about a couple of the movies that were ineligible. First off is the rubber ears Captain America with the Italian Red Skull. You guys actually ever watched it?
I've seen clips of it, but I haven't seen... I've not tortured myself enough to sit through it and watch it.
All right. I watched it... I watched it on video, because, video store. I remember seeing advertised, though, the trailer. It was like a teaser trailer in front of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, it's just like, the shield just comes up. Coming next year. And it never did. It's bad. It's not even, fun. I was talking to somebody about, whether or not Swamp Thing is a bad movie. Swamp Movie is an enjoyably made bad movie. I'm sorry, the Wes Craven.
Like the MST3K fair.
Right, yeah, exactly. This Captain America it was obviously written by someone who had never read the comic books. And then there's the rubber ears.
Yeah.
At least they tried to get the costume to look realistic, right? Alright, also, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Well, no, kind of go back to
Captain
America. It came out in 1990, which is a year after Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen, like I said, I've only seen clips of it, but you look at the production quality of one versus the other.
Yep.
You're like...
Well, obviously, the Captain America movie was made with $10 and a ham sandwich. So it's just like...
It should have, you know what? It should have been part of the NBC TV movie canon.
Oh, like
with Thor
and Nick Fury.
Yeah.
God. David Hasselhoff is Nick Fury in...
And Bruce Banner.
Yeah. Alright, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. It's so much Punisher that the only thing that they really got the rights to was the font.
Was that actually theatrically released?
No, it was direct to video.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I think this was supposed to be theatrically released, and then they looked at it and go, no.
Shit, can it?
He doesn't even wear the skull at all.
So it's just basically Punisher.
No, like I said, the only thing that they got the rights to was the Punisher font, and that's on the poster.
Was the character's name even Frank Castle?
I believe it might have been, because that's what you'd name a Dutch guy.
I probably never even named him. You know, it was just
right. He was just
the guy.
That Swedish guy. Oh, wait, sorry, he was an American guy.
Meanwhile, Louis Gossett Jr., who, yes, is in that movie, is going, God, man, we gotta find this turkey! And then the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
That never even got a video release.
It didn't even get a video release, but you can watch it if you go to comic book conventions. You know what?
Hell, if you go to YouTube, you can watch it.
Yeah. You know what the sick thing is? This is the first out of 4 Fantastic Four movies released in the last 25 years.
And
this is the one
sucked.
But this is the one that got closest to the actual
Yes,
Marvel
it is.
comic.
That's
As bad as it is. And it is bad.
It is bad.
Oh, it's terrifyingly
Although
bad.
not as bad as another one that might have
Yeah. So, before we continue, we decided that I felt like I needed to reach out to someone far smarter than the three of us.
Yeah.
So,
You're not smart?
friend of the show, Dave McLean, came up with this list, which we're actually going to play the audio for, which is his most meh movies. Take it away, Dave.
Thank you for listening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm David McLean. I'm here to present the Oscar tonight for the mediocrest comic book movie. These are not the great ones, nor the terrible ones, but the 5s out of 10. They are the all right, the okie dokie. These are the ones who, at best, took 2 hours of your time and $12 in cash. Hopefully the popcorn was good. They represent, in my opinion, neither the glorious triumph of The Dark Knight nor the nadir of Batman and Robin, but the middle in between these two extremes. They are the movies which, in my opinion, serve as signposts on the road of diminishing returns. If you get any farther than this, things aren't going to get any better. First off, Iron Man 2. I had to check on how many Oscar nominees were in this movie. There are 5, with 3 other performers who I was surprised to learn had never been nominated. Directed by Jon Favreau, with Robert Downey Jr. and Mickey Rourke at the center of the film, this is a movie with a deep well of talent, which, for the life of me, I can't remember anything about, even though I know I've seen it. If memory serves, it involves Mickey Rourke being turned evil after a freak plastic surgery incident. And it's not a terrible movie, but I don't think it's too much of an outlandish suggestion that the two leads here would probably have you rather watch them in Barfly and Less Than Zero, respectively. Second off, Spider-Man 3. It's a little hard to believe now, but there was a time when Tobey Maguire was cool. Seriously, cool. He was the kind of promising young actor who everyone was sure would be the next James Dean. That was how cool he was. I believe that bubble burst about halfway through the dance sequence in Spider-Man 3. If you are ever making a superhero movie, for the love of God, don't put in a dance sequence. Third, Batman versus Superman. The DC comic universe has taken an overall theme that's decidedly odd. The idea that altruism should be inherently mistrusted. This is a weird theme for a comic book movie, and I find it equally weird that Batman, the world's greatest detective, would be unable to spot that Superman is a good guy. Had the movie been made the other way, with Superman distrusting the, in this case, hard-drinking Dark Knight, I suspect the things might have gone better. It's a dark, unpleasant movie, and it's really hard to like. But I'm going to upgrade it from bad to mediocre for one reason and one reason only, and that's the brilliance of casting Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I know, she's only in it for about 10 minutes, but I think she's brilliant. Fourth, 1994's The Crow. I feel terribly guilty about mentioning this one, given the bizarre nature of Brandon Lee's death and the relationship that death has with the movie in general. However, as one of the 8 or 9 actual fans of the original comic book, I should point out that this is the classic example of Hollywood watering down the original to make it easily digestible for the mass market consumer. For example, despite numerous references to the rock band Joy Division in this comic, they've been replaced on the soundtrack with the Stone Temple Pilots. For those of you who are not goths, the difference between Joy Division and the Stone Temple Pilots is roughly the same as the difference between Edvard Munch's The Scream and a jack-o'-lantern. Now, I like jack-o'-lanterns, and I kind of like the Stone Temple Pilots, but it's just not the same. Also, once you've gotten past your bi-level haircut phase, it's just not the same. And the winner is, drumroll please. Well, does it matter really? I actually think there's a theme here, and that's the idea of too many cooks spoiling the broth. I don't like the idea of making fun of someone else's art anymore, but the truth is, these movies aren't any one person's art at all. They are written by teams of writers doing dozens of drafts, using characters they didn't create, produced by directors whose job is closer to that of a corporate CEO than you might think. I hate to be the one to say this, but some of these people may simply be looking for a way to chisel out their place in corporate America, and nothing more. So if there's a producer out there looking to drop $200 million on a production of Squirrel Girl, and my friend Andy assures me that there is, I'm going to make a suggestion here. Maybe make sure that the director involved actually thinks the character is interesting before you start signing deals. Then maybe, just maybe, you can avoid having people walk out of the movie theater and saying, meh. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm David McLean. Look me up and you'll discover I'm the author of The Time Traveler's Resort and Museum, which, among other things, doesn't have a movie deal, but does have an audiobook version that will be available on iTunes in October or so. Thank you. The Cineplex is closed.
So, yeah. He's got a lot of good points.
I really can't disagree with anything he said, really, to be honest. I mean, a lot of the movies he mentioned were like, meh. I mean, they're not...
Unfortunately, a couple of the movies he mentioned are actually on the list.
Yeah, one of them is.
One of them is.
Oh, yeah.
No, two of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Two of them.
Okay. That's right. Sorry.
But that's all subjective, so...
Yeah, it's all subjective. But yeah, I did correct him, though, when he had sent me the audio about that there is a Joy Division song in The Crow. It's just covered by Nine Inch Nails. Because I'm a music nerd.
Yeah, you're saying a bunch of names that mean nothing to me.
This is early 90s goth.
No, God, this is... Oh, if you really want to get...
Joy Division.
Joy Division is early 80s goth.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, the fact... Yeah, he was right. The comic book is like... Could have been like the next Joy Division album.
It could have been, yeah.
You know, so to replace all the music...
Hey, but my life with the Thrill Kill cult needed to eat that week.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I like STP, I mean, it did not fit the aesthetic of The Crow.
No. So anyway, please, if you like what Dave has to say, check out the History of England podcast, which he does host from time to time. And also, please buy his book. So
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm assuming by STP you don't mean oil treatment,
No.
right?
No. Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Or she called them the Stone Temple Pilots.
Sorry.
Before we start talking about the Batman.
Sorry, around early 90s I was in the country.
Moving on. And speaking of which, let's get to the worst list.
Nice segue.
No,
very bad segue.
Oh, that was a great segue.
That was terrible.
I'm so clever.
I wish I was editing this one so I could take one out.
Yeah, guess what? All right. Oh, anyway, let's get to the list. We will have some running commentary also from Steve Day at ApeCod on Twitter because he's got some good stuff here. I wanted his input on some of this. So.
Is he still updating it?
No, actually, this was done this morning. So let's start off the list with number 15, Howard the Duck.
Come here, snot-nose! That's it. No more Mr. Nice Duck. No! Huh? Let the female creature go. Every duck's got his limit, and you scum have pushed me over the line.
Jimmy, do you like to see what I see? A talking duck?
Yeah, that's it. I've been doing too much toot. Shoot! Fly away!
No one laughs at a master of quack fu and sucking!
Jimmy, okay?
Because interspecies sex never gets old.
Oh, God. Steve writes, I know I sound like a broke record, but this movie should have been ample warning to the rest of us as to what Lucas had planned for the prequels.
Oh, that's right, I forgot he was involved.
Yeah. But you know what the thing is?
I think we should take the ducks and make them have sex, because that'll really amplify the whole interspecies thing.
Seriously, there are duck tits in this movie,
Yeah.
and that duck was pleasuring herself
Oh, good
in
God.
the tub.
Oh, good God.
And this was a PG movie with a special rating warning underneath it.
Oh, this was prior to PG-13.
No, it was in the
It was
age of
after.
PG-13. This was 86, so it was 2 years after PG-13 was
Oh,
released.
right,
But, no, they had actually had to put a special disclaimer in there that the movie, while PG-13, is really not for small kids.
Now they just call it PG-13.
Yeah, exactly.
When
But
it
they
made
wouldn't even
fun.
show duck tits in that either. Yeah.
I've seen bare ass in PG-13, so...
Yeah, not recently, though.
No.
Yeah, exactly. PG-13 is like PG.
Well, yeah, no. Logan?
No, Logan was R.
But Days of Future Past.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They still show bare ass in the X-Men movies.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I remember that one got a real big ovation when we went to go see that.
From the ladies.
From the ladies.
Some of the men.
I actually saw Howard the Duck in the theater.
You paid good money to see this, didn't you?
I was 14 years old, and I think at that point is when I kind of realized that movies can suck. I'm just like, wow, that wasn't good. Today I am a man.
It's just... yeah, no.
It's nonsensical. It's such a product of the mid '80s too, with like the big shoulder pads.
Oh,
and
Oh, yeah,
big
you had
hair.
Leah Thompson with the teased out hair. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh man, a year ago I wanted to bang her.
Singing a pop version of Howard the Duck, yeah!
Now, yeah. Now, do you really want to be Eskimo Brothers with a Howard the Duck?
No, exactly. No. Oh,
No.
God.
No.
There's just so much going on in that movie, and none of it is good.
The sad thing is, they actually got Howard the Duck right in Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's true. They did. That's voiced by Seth Green.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because, back before... So Guardians was released in 2014. So, yeah, we got a done right... The joke was we got a done right version of Howard the Duck before Wonder Woman hit the big screen.
Fair point.
Yeah,
Fair point.
yeah,
Sad,
it's-
but fair point.
Yeah, now, have you guys... Either of you guys actually seen this movie?
No.
I've
No?
I've seen enough.
I've seen it, but it was long time. I've been just trying to put it back into the recesses of my brain.
I've seen enough to know I don't want to see the rest.
It's weird, though, because the guy who does the voice of Howard is an actor named Chip Zien.
Okay.
And we were watching a thing, and they actually brought up Howard the Duck, and they were showing him talk, and Autumn's like, where do I know that voice from? I'm like, honey, that's the baker in the original Into the Woods cast. She's like, oh, shit. So, shall we move on?
We shall.
Mike, do you want to take number 14?
Yeah, sure. Number 14 is The Phantom.
What is this, a ship full of women?
All my pilots are women.
Interesting. Excuse me.
Who are you?
Good Samaritan.
I bet you're better than good. Guess I'm gonna get the chance to find out.
There's an old jungle saying, never point a gun at someone because it just might go off.
Ooh. Fast hands. I like that in a man.
Tie her up. Or don't.
Whenever I look at this list, I keep thinking, wait, didn't that star like Ben Affleck about aliens?
No, that was Phantoms, because he was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. So for the Phantom, Steve writes a movie based on an old-timey serial that was somehow less comprehensible than The Shadow.
I'm still waiting for that Defenders of Earth compilation.
Jesus.
Oh, good God.
With Flash Gordon and Mandrake the Magician.
Yeah, we need a Defenders of Earth cinematic universe here.
Just what we need. A Phantom cinematic universe.
Exactly. It is just... Oh, God. All right, so first of all, I have a personal hatred of this movie solely because when it came out on sell-through VHS, I was at Suncoast, so brace yourself, Suncoast story. We got these promotional Phantom rings.
Oh, good
so
God.
the skull ring, all right, and nobody was buying the movie, so we weren't giving these things out.
Listen, I got one of those.
Did you?
I don't know where, but I know I had one of those at one time.
So me, Steve, and a couple of our co-workers all put the rings on and pretty much spent all of our downtime going, Slam Evil! Because that was the tagline. Slam Evil!
They were metal rings, too. They were solid.
They were solid metal rings that did something awful to our skin.
Oh,
I had
sucks.
like bubbles. Like blister bubbles under my skin. Every single one of us got a skin infection from those stupid fucking things. Fuck you, Billy Zane, and your tight purple suit that doesn't make you look thin. It just makes you look like a purple fucking spare tire. You suck.
He looks bloated.
He does look bloated. Hey, seriously, did you miss Ab Day, Billy Zane?
There's proof that sometimes when a costume works in the comics,
doesn't
not so much in real life.
Mm. No, it's like, okay, you could. This would have been the excuse to not have gone comics accurate.
Yeah.
You know, everyone bitched and moaned 4 years later about the X-Men not going with their cartoon, their comic book.
Yeah, I really don't need to see Hugh Jackman in yellow
spandex,
yellow and blue spandex.
But the brown spandex, whoo, that would have been perfect right there.
Yeah, no. So the Phantom suffers from a lot of stuff. First of all, its villain is Treat Williams, who just comes across as that he did an 8-ball every other day. And on the days that he missed were the days that he was shooting. So he's just coming down enough, but expecting that next high the next day.
Well, I mean, the Phantom also suffers from the fact that it was based on a comic that was made in the 40s and was just barely relevant then.
Right, exactly. So, and then by the time... Here's the thing, too. You got to keep in mind that when it came out in 96... the comic book genre is practically dead at this point. I mean, think about the movies that had come out in or around that time. Okay, so
96 was Batman Robin.
No,
Batman
that was
Robin
97.
97 would put the nail in the coffin.
Right.
Batman and Robin put the nail in the coffin.
95 was Batman Forever. There hadn't been a Superman movie since 87.
And we know what the last one that was.
Right. It was back, 94 was The Shadow.
When was Steel?
Steel was 96. I'm amazed that didn't make this list.
It came close.
It came close, yeah.
Yeah, this movie was a loser in a lot of ways. It had a budget of $45 million.
Right.
Only made $17.3 million domestically.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's bad. And I don't think it did anything globally either. It's back before they started charting that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Joe,
the next one doesn't have quite as many excuses, though.
No. Joe, do you want to take number 13?
All right, number 13, The Spirit.
My city, she's always there for me. Every lonely night she's there for me. She's not some tarted up fraud all dressed up like a piece of jailbait. No, she's an old city, old and proud of her every pocket, crack, and wrinkle. She's my sweetheart, my plaything. She doesn't hide what she is, what she's made of. Sweat and muscle and blood of generations. She sleeps after after midnight and until dawn, only shadows move in the silence. Damn, I've got no time for this. My city screams. She needs me. She is my love. She is my life. And I am her spirit.
Proof positive that, while Frank Miller may be a great writer, he is
not a good director.
Not at all. In fact, Steve wrote... Where the fuck is it? Jesus Christ, where the hell is... Oh, God damn it. Steve pretty much said that Frank Miller needs to stick to doing his own work and not stealing from others.
Apparently, he's got a Sin City prequel in mind.
Oh God, really?
A western.
That needs to stop.
A western though. Sin City western though.
Let's still
come on, that'd be cool.
After I, you know what? I'm upset because I was the only person who actually put Sin City: A Dame to Kill For on their list.
Well, because nobody else bothered.
Which the only
I didn't watch it. Yeah,
the only redeeming quality of that movie is that a solid third of it is Eva Green's tits.
Which I got out of 300 Rise of
yeah, exactly.
Sparta,
well, I never watched that one either.
Yeah. Oh.
You want to see Eva Green's tits? That's the one. For
yeah. Well, she's.
Well, which one? 300 or
actually either one.
Either one. There's also that Camelot show that she was on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, but The Spirit. Who's seen it?
I'll be honest with you. I did not even know about it. I knew the comic book. But until you mentioned it, I was like...
I saw the trailers.
I saw the list.
Yeah.
Until I saw the list, I was like...
Me.
I was like... Because I love The Spirit.
Oh, yeah, I know you were a big fan of The Spirit.
I love The Spirit. I actually had, like, this book of old Will Eisner comic strips on The Spirit. When I was a kid, I used to get this comic book magazine that would just talk about, like, movies that were being developed and all that, and Sam Flash Gordon Jones actually made a never-released Spirit movie.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know how far they actually got into the production, but there are production stills of him with the suit and the mask, the Kato mask, and everything. And then this movie comes out, and it's shot like Sin City.
And I think that only works.
It's a style that only works for Sin City,
right?
But I mean, if you look at all of the talent involved in this movie. It is shocking that
there are two Avengers in that movie.
Yeah,
Scarlett Johansson and Samuel L. Jackson are both in that movie.
And I mean, when it's on the surface, Frank Miller's directing this.
Yeah,
that should be.
And this is before he co-directed A Dame to Kill For.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he only take half the blame for that one. This he can take all the blame. It's dark and it's confusing. And it's there's just something about the way that people talk to the spirit that just everything sounds like it's condescending. Every single person is pissed off at somebody else in a condescending tone.
That sounds like Frank Miller.
Yep, pretty much. All right. Well, I guess I'm the only one who's seen it, but it's honestly not even worth like the curiosity view.
Yeah.
So it's that bad.
Oh, jeez.
All right, number 12. 2015's Fan Four Stick.
Yep. You can't call it Fantastic Four because it was in the poster. It's Fan Four Stick.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ben.
So, this is where you've been hiding out.
Wait, stop. Okay, let me explain.
Why?
I'm no good to you, to anyone. This is all my fault.
That we can agree on.
So that is the actual title.
So that confused a shitload of people.
Yeah. The people that were confused were badly disappointed.
So what I learned about this movie is, apparently it is impossible to make a Fantastic Four movie.
No, not true.
This movie,
no, because The Incredibles was made and it was perfect.
This movie is more known for the shit show that was going on behind the scenes
with Josh Trank,
and the fact that he got pulled out of Star Wars because of this movie, than it was for the actual movie. I mean, the movie it's universally regarded as a bad movie, but everything about it, movie is known because it's such a shit show behind the scenes.
It's so dark. I mean, say what you will about the Tim story.
Dark as in tone or dark as in cinematography?
Cinematography. I mean, say what you will about...
You ever watch Chronicle? That's
yeah.
dark. It's
but But say what you will about the Tim Story Fantastic Four movies. They're not good movies, but
They're
at
fun.
least they went outside every once in a while.
Yeah.
At least you could tell the color of their outfits.
Well, that's that's Trank's kind of style.
Yeah, but in this day and
And
age,
I'm not forgiving it. It's just that's
right.
He directed Chronicle. Everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to make Chronicle 2 with Fantastic Fan 4 Stick.
Right. And it just... The thing is in 2015, we were firmly ensconced in comic book cinematic universes.
Yeah.
And getting it right. And getting it to the point where you didn't have to dumb it down for a non-comic book reader to enjoy it. And then...
It's arguable.
What's that?
It's arguable, but...
In terms of just like, for the most part, yeah, there's always going to be changes made. But with the Fantastic Four, it's like, all right, you completely changed everything about their origin story.
Yeah.
You completely changed the way they met. Oh, and you can't do Doctor Doom right, ever.
No.
How do you screw up something like Doctor Doom?
Because they're too lazy to take the time to tell that story because they're too busy telling the story of them just getting along. Because every team has to hate each other at first, right?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I think there's blame on both Trank and the studio for this one because the studio yanked, I think, 3 huge set pieces from the movie
right
while they were shooting.
Right.
And that's not something you do to a director. That's dirty cool.
It also wasn't helping, too, that Marvel was completely shitting on the Fantastic Four.
You know that's all a strong arm tactic until
yeah.
they get that back in the MCU.
Yeah.
Which, fine, because Fox obviously doesn't know how to do Fantastic Four.
We'll figure this, though. It's been 3 years since there's been a Fantastic Four comic book.
Yeah.
To be fair, it wasn't really selling all that well either.
Yeah, but it's always been like, it's
been a stalwart.
It's a stalwart for... I mean, in the comic books, they killed off the actors playing the Fantastic Four. It was a panel. It was a scene where they killed off the actors.
Yeah. I saw this one opening day.
Yeah, I know. I remember you bragging about it. Wasn't much of a brag.
I was crying about it.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? You know what the opening line of this movie is? And this kills me as a New England Patriots fan. My favorite football player is Eli Manning. Oh, this movie fucking sucks already.
It's not as bad as the last line.
Remind me.
Well, they're just talking and someone says, wow, that would be fantastic. Hey, wait. Fantastic. I got it.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, it goes, we're the... And then it shows Fantastic Four. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
You know, it's just sad that they did it better a month earlier in Avengers.
Yeah.
I during the final battle, I was literally laughing out loud in the theater because it was just like, did they seriously believe that they would get away with dialogue this bad and effects this cheesy?
Well, they figured it was so the film stock was so dark, no one would be able to tell anyway.
Doctor Doom, who can make people's head explodes, but gets punched to defeat after all.
Now, I've always heard, too, that someone theorized that the best way to actually make a good Fantastic Four movie, bypass the origin altogether. You don't need to know it. No. You don't need to see it. You don't need to spend an hour learning about it.
No.
You start them off where they're already famous. If you need to do, like, a Baxter building, here are some photos that kind of show a quickie thing of what they did. And now here they are. Here are their powers. And, oh, look, here's Dr. Doom. He's from Latveria. And he has robots in a kingdom.
Well, I mean, they had to show the Spider-Man origin all the time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, every single way. No, they didn't.
No, and hey, that movie was good. So hey, maybe it can work. Wow.
Considering that for the Raimi Spider-Man movies, the fact that they just needed to show it in the credit sequence of the second movie just to remind you.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, look at the Incredible Hulk.
True.
Opening credits. Sequence, done. There it is.
Yep. So, all right. Mike, you got number 11?
Yeah, I got number 11. Number 11 is Suicide Squad.
Huh? What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices. I'm kidding. Jeez. That's not what they really said.
Boy. All right. Well, Joe, as the resident... Well, actually, let me read off Steve's thing here. The biggest loser here was Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Joe, you're the resident DC apologist.
I can't apologize. I can't defend this.
This movie is... All right, first of all...
I mean, look, as hot as Margot Robbie was as Harley Quinn, there's just no defending this movie. Jared Leto, does not...
They got... the thing is that this movie is jam-packed with characters, and nobody... They got nobody right.
Nobody.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
Except Harley Quinn. But
I'll give him Harley Quinn.
Well, Harley Quinn they got right. I think that's more down to Margot Robbie than it is the actual kind of her characterization of Harley Quinn.
You know what? I'll give Deadshot a pass.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the character to say. Captain Boomerang.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. I just wanted to punch him.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Okay, now first of all, one of the reviews I read of the movie was there are more shots of Margot Robbie's ass than there were certain supporting characters.
It's fan.
Well,
it was fan service.
Let's face it, it was better than the plot.
Yeah, it was. What plot? The movie. All right, I went on a binge of filmmaking guys talking about every piece of this shit show. It's like, first of all, the first cut wasn't good enough, so people are like, well, they liked the trailer. Why don't we get the trailer company, Trailer Park, to cut the movie? So they cut it like a movie trailer. And then they watch it and like, well, this isn't very good at all. Why don't we just blend the two together? And that's what you got.
Yeah.
Is this movie where the director was essentially just like not listened to ever.
Which is a shame because David Ayer, he's so good. Fury was such an awesome movie.
What I learned from this movie is that if you have a talisman that holds an evil sorceress's powers in check, make sure you have that under lock and key. But her brother's one leave out on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Because, who's going to go for that, right?
Yeah.
And the problem was, it was so misleading because you're thinking Joker is going to be such a big part of it.
Dude, Joker should have been left out of this movie. He served no purpose.
Exactly.
There was no point to having the Joker there.
But that wasn't the focus of the trailers.
No, Joker was a main crux in the trailers. But even still, and I don't know your opinion on Jared Leto as Joker. I thought he was awful. I felt like he was just a dude who had white skin and green hair. It wasn't. He had none of the traits of the Joker.
I couldn't form an opinion on him, to be honest. I think there could have been better choices, but again, that may be down to the writing, it may have been down to the directing. We don't know because it wasn't enough of me.
We'll never know because the movie is choppy.
Right.
First of all, the movie is ugly.
Yeah.
The special effects in that movie, and this is an issue across the board with DCEU movies. The special effects are bad looking. Because they're doing digital special effects, but shooting on film.
Right.
And it looks weird. There's that scene where Joker and Harley Quinn are on a bike or something like that, and a truck flips over, and it just looks bad.
This was a result of the movie's choppy look and editing and stuff like that is a result of the reaction to Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into later.
And strangely enough, not that much later, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but the aesthetic kind of editing of look of it is a reaction to what happened.
It was, we need to make this a little more frantic. Right. People don't like downers anymore, apparently. So yeah, this movie is first of all, it took me 4 tries to get through the first 20 minutes of this movie because hey, I got my dad's album collection. I'm going to play a song for each and every single character. I not only had to introduce, but come up with a completely different frantic Chiron.
Yeah.
For
it was, and when they announced the Suicide Squad movie, I was like, this a movie about villains is not going to work.
It's a reaction to Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is not going to work. This is stupid. Nobody wants to see the villains. But then I saw the trailers. The trailers like, okay, maybe they might pull it off.
I gotta be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the trailers.
You know what? The Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, I was a little amped for it.
Right. That one actually cut me out completely because that song just didn't fit for me.
No.
I think it worked.
Country boy.
Hey, I like Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think that there's so much wrong with the movie. It's so hard to hammer. I mean, first of all, narratively, it makes zero sense.
No. Yeah. Well, you know what did work about this movie, though?
What's that?
That dance that the Enchantress was doing the whole time,
yes,
right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
No, honestly, there was one scene that I really enjoyed. That was the bar scene. Because there was no special effects, there was no... basically, it was just character development.
Right.
And it was desperately needed, and I enjoyed it.
Character development. 4 pages of character development.
Hey. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The one good character they killed off. At the
that guy had dead meat written all over his tattooed body.
Yeah. But I liked his character.
Right. Now, what I'm trying to figure out at the end of that movie is, though, and spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay.
Who cares?
When they get sent back to prison, and they all kind of get like their little indulgence, like the espresso maker and Killer Croc gets BET because the actor underneath all that latex is black. And Will Smith gets the supervised visits with his kid. What exactly did Captain Boomerang do that was so awful that he was locked in solitary compared to everybody else? All these other bags of shit that got rewarded for it. I don't remember him doing something that was so horribly bad that he was the only one who got punished.
Didn't he have a pink unicorn the whole time?
No, he did have he had a stuffed animal, which one of these filming things is like, they bring it up like 3 times, so you eventually assume by the 4th time he picks the thing out, there's a story behind it,
right?
Or it's there for a reason.
Oh, I know what the reason
just disappears.
The reason for that one was the same reason for the stuffed unicorn in Deadpool, but they were more overt about it in Deadpool.
Which was what? oh yes, the stuffed unicorn. I'm sorry. It has been a while since I've seen that part of Deadpool. So. Yeah, there you go. Okay, fist bump that. All right. Moving on. Joe, can you take number 10, sir?
Yep, number 10, Elektra.
Here we are at last. Guess it's all true. The red outfit, the knives. So what happens now? You just kill me straight out, just cold?
Don't worry. Death's not that bad.
Yeah. How do you know?
I died once.
Okay, Steve writes, hey, I got an idea. Maybe you shouldn't make a sequel that features the worst part of an already terrible movie.
Now...
Alright, first off, I want to point out one thing real quick.
We'll get into Daredevil.
Nobody could spell the word Elektra correctly. It's a K, not a C.
Yeah.
Public schooling has failed you all.
Well, to be fair, they don't teach too much about Greek mythology in schools anymore.
True. So go ahead.
I was going to say, Daredevil is not the abomination it is, but we'll get into that. Right. So that's kind of my point. But I can see Steve's point. There was really no clamoring for an Elektra.
No, I mean, and the thing is, it was knee jerk because when the movie came out, she was kind of the breakout character.
Well, because she was doing.
She was doing
Ben Affleck.
Well, yeah. No, but she was doing her sandbag exercises with the sigh, listening to Evanescence. And that is the most 2003 thing you'll ever hear today. It's such a nothing movie. There's no real stakes. There's no real... First of all, they take all of Daredevil's... they take a whole bunch of Daredevil's characters and throw them into this movie. Stick is in it. Typhoid's in it. Yeah. Stone.
Yeah.
Well, no Daredevil.
No Daredevil. Well,
I don't know. I didn't watch it, so...
Yeah. It's hard to actually remember what this movie is about, other than she is an assassin for hire that runs into a family and gets a conscience.
Yeah, it's been way too long since I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't memorable at all.
Joe, you haven't even seen it.
I haven't seen it.
All right. Well, that's probably why. All right. Number 9. Oh, I've been itching to.
I know you've been waiting to unload on this one.
Oh, god damn. Number 9. Batman vs. Superman. Dawn of Justice.
I bet your parents taught you that you mean something. That you're here for a reason. My parents taught me a different lesson. Dying in the gutter for no reason at all. They taught me the world only makes sense if you force it to. You were never a god. You were never even a man. You're letting him kill Martha. What does that mean? Why did you say that name? Find him! Save Martha!
Correction. It's Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
It was just a V, there's no verses there.
Yeah. Steve writes, decades in the making, written in a weekend. Oh boy, where do we begin with this joyless sack of shit? Oh boy, where do we start? Oh good lord, there are so many things. Oh, I was unaware that Batman became Batman because his parents were murdered in an alleyway. I didn't know that.
What the fuck you say?
What's good? I was like, I was with Mike. This was my birthday movie last year.
Yeah.
I'm with Mike, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
Sad thing is, I had seen it opening day, and I was like,
you know what?
Oh shit, I need to see this again.
I know, but Nolan did the same thing, so don't even.
No, I understand that, but that was in Batman Begins, where you're learning the whole thing, and
but
then
you know what? By the time Batman Begins came out,
the movie's called Batman Begins, as in telling you how Batman begins.
But we didn't need. It's been 70 years when Batman Begins came out. We kind of knew that his parents were killed in an alley by Joe Chill.
But the last time we'd gotten Batman's origin story was Batman 1989.
And it's still the same!
Right. But here's the...
Cinematically.
Right. Here's the thing.
I don't need to see Tom and Martha getting shot coming out as the Zero. Okay? I don't have a problem with Batman Begins. I love the Ra's al Ghul stuff. I love, him kind of coming back to Gotham and kind of trying to figure out what he needs to do. I don't need to see, like Batman v Superman. I didn't need to see Martha and Thomas getting shot again.
Considering that with the amount of content that this movie tries to cover in 2.5 very, very long hours, it's like greasing up a fat man to get him through a door and throwing a donut to try to get him to go through. It is like one of the things that could have been cut, and the only reason why it was put in there in the first place is for what everybody universally thinks is the most laughable thing about the movie. Martha!
No. I find one more thing more laughable.
Okay.
Creep! Yes, I just fed Andy a chip because he didn't have any Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, God.
That was the most laughable. That character, or that quote-unquote character, is the most laughable thing
I
about this movie.
want to say to anybody who defended that casting, fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I watched...
Joe, you did, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good.
I watched the Ultimate Edition.
No, I will say, I had hopes for Zuckerberg. I wanted Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
I had hope for Zuckerberg because after watching...
You meant not Zuckerberg. You're confusing with the character who played Social Network.
He played Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg. I had hopes for Eisenberg because after watching the
Social
Network...
You were hoping for the other Eisenberg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not what we got.
No.
And I didn't hate this movie. It's not one of my favorite movies. I agree with Dave. For me, this is a meh movie. And I can understand a lot of people's frustrations with it, why they think it sucks. I have no issue with it. People can dump on it all they want. I'm not going to defend it. This is not the hill I'm going to die on.
All right. Is your mother's name Martha?
No,
it's not.
I told you, this is not the hill I'm going to die defending.
And I appreciate that because I had argument after argument with my cousin about this movie because I said, I quote, hated this movie. He's like, hate's a strong word. I'm like, this movie, because here's his defense of the movie. Batman finally fights Superman and Doomsday. That's not a movie. That's a checklist. I want to see these things in a movie. Can you make them happen?
Now, I enjoyed Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel was a very good movie.
I didn't mind Man of Steel.
But I understand a lot of the criticism, and I actually agree with a lot of the criticisms of Zack Snyder. Is he doesn't understand? He doesn't understand the fundamental character of Superman.
No,
Man of Steel. He does not understand the very basics of the Man of Steel.
Let's go back to what Dave said.
Given Batman's murder count, I don't think he understands the basics of Batman either.
No, Batman was a murderer.
But let's go back to what Dave said. They treat Superman's altruism like it's a bad thing,
and the problem is that was an outgrowth of Man of Steel,
right?
Where instead of Martha,
fine, I'll save you.
Instead of Martha and Jonathan teaching their son to basically be Superman.
Dad, should I let those kids die?
Nah, fuck them.
Right, exactly. And I can understand that, and if Superman had grown beyond that to, hey, you know what? I love my parents, but they were wrong.
Right. But it's hard to do that in this movie when he's considered a secondary character in his own sequel.
If you wanted... The perfect plot for this would have been issue 3 of the original Man of Steel run by John Byrne, where Superman actually meets the Dark Knight for the first time.
Yeah.
Where Superman goes to Gotham because he hears about this vigilante that's going, that's out of control, and he needs to stop him.
Right. And
that would have made more sense.
And yet, let's get back to what Dave said. It should be Superman who's pissed at Batman, not the opposite.
Right.
Because, I'm sorry, bald guy who we just met in this movie died, so... Jesus. I mean...
Funny thing is, the Batman v Superman I saw in theaters, I was mad about.
Yeah.
Then I saw the Ultimate
the director's cut.
Now I'm pissed at the movie. Because what did the Ultimate Edition? It exemplified how incredibly stupid, impossible, and ludicrous Lex Luthor's overarching plan was.
Right. The fact that it involves collecting piss is just...
There was a lot of potential there for... I
would have accepted...
You know what? When the Batman v Superman first announced, I had this idea in my head of you make Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne into rivals when they see what happened to Metropolis after Zod's attack. You have Lex Luthor being the primary, aliens are bad, this is yada yada, like he does in the comic book.
Right.
Like the comic book, the perfect Lex Luthor
You mean
template,
the blueprint? That was
the perfect blueprint for Lex Luthor was in the comic books.
Right.
And if they followed that would have been more compelling.
But it's not as compelling as just watching these two yell and scream at each other while Jesse Eisenberg goes and essentially recreates the plot of Superman 4, the Quest for Peace, by using Kryptonian DNA to create a supervillain who looks like a cave troll.
And the problem, the sad part about this movie is that Ben Affleck's performance as Batman was outstanding. It was arguably the best part of this movie. And now he's getting shit on. He's going to leave the
He's
Batman.
going to leave the entire
He's going to leave
thing.
And there was so much potential there for him as the Batman.
Right. And it turns... But that's the issue, too, is that this was far too many cooks in the kitchen.
Wait. No, sorry. Ben Affleck is back. He's going to be Batman. Oh, wait, sorry.
Wait, no.
Update.
No.
He's not gonna be
Updated. Matt
Batman
Reeves
now.
just said he's not going to do it anymore. Hey, wait, no. Hold on a second.
Jesus Christ,
Whether or not Ben Affleck's going to be back.
Ben Affleck's going to be back, but it's going to have nothing to do with any of the DC movies going forward. And
I am still a DC comic fan, but it's getting harder and harder to defend DCWB.
Your poor liver. Your poor liver.
If DC Rebirth wasn't kicking it in the comic books, I would have given up on DC.
All right, now let's talk about some of the other issues with this movie. Aside from the length, the biblical length of this movie. Again, this movie looks ugly. There's that one scene where Batman is fighting the cave troll. I'm sorry, Doomsday, and he uses his Batarang, he goes to the corner of the building and then flips around and shoots back off.
Yeah.
That looked like a cutscene from Arkham City. It just didn't look good.
I actually made a meme about how I figure Batman felt about this entire battle. See Superman and then Wonder Woman batting this guy. He's like, "Hey guys, I can do this too. Hey guys, hello."
There's this great line too that someone had brought up about that ball where Alex Luthor, because why have the real Lex Luthor there? Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. Why should we give a fuck about that? This guy is a billionaire. This guy is a cub reporter.
No, he's a sports reporter.
He's a sports reporter. No, he's a sports reporter because Perry White doesn't understand how newspapers work anymore. It's been like a month. Where's that football story, Ken? What story? The inspirational story from last month? You do understand this is why print is dead, right?
Work on the football story while you go cover that gala event celebrating Lex Luthor.
Yeah, exactly. All things Lex. And then... Oh my god, if you couldn't cram so much horseshit into one thing, it's like, okay, here's the rest of them. In these little QuickTime videos that were shot with an old cell phone. All I know is that the Flash loves milk.
And
Joe Morton created Cyborg, and apparently Aquaman can't breathe underwater.
No, Joe Morton created Cyborg in a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Because that's how it looked.
And sadly, until they finally finishing rendering that special effect, it still looks like that in the trailers for Justice League. The thing is that it's a the worst part about that, it's a commercial. It's a commercial for another movie, which now, knowing what we know now about the state of the DCEU, what does it fucking matter about Justice League?
It doesn't.
It's not going to continue. They haven't inked a Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2 or whatever. They finally signed Patty Jenkins to the highest directors.
It hasn't officially.
I thought they officially.
They're in final negotiations, but she's getting a lot more money.
She's going to get a lot more money, and James Cameron's upset about that because.
But given that,
because James Cameron's a douche.
But given what we know about Matt Reeves, the Batman, the Joker origin,
the Joker origin story. Because you know what I was going to say. You know what I really loved about The Dark Knight was when Heath Ledger told about the story about the scars, and it was the same story 3 times over.
Yeah.
No, it's 3 different stories.
Duh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't need to hear. I don't need to see a Joker origin story. I don't. It's like it has nothing to do with anything else.
Right.
Honestly, it's like the Arrowverse, but within the movies. The Arrowverse.
Yeah, the Arrowverse is more.
It's good, but they're a self-contained unit.
Right.
All the entire universe is self-contained, which is fine,
and it works. The internal logic in it works.
You know why? Because they made an Arrow series, then they made a Flash series.
Right. They let it happen.
And
that's really kind of the big flaw in the whole DCEU.
Right. Man
of Steel was a good movie on its own, but then they saw what the MCU was doing, and they rushed it. They're like, okay, we got this one movie, let's shit something out.
Right. So, I mean, just to look at it this way too. Imagine this, and this is usually the comparison I like to give, and then we'll move on. I swear to God. All right, imagine that the only movies that came out before Avengers was Captain America the First Avenger.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
That's it.
And then everybody else gets introduced in one movie with the exact same amount of exposition they were given in Avengers without knowing Iron Man had 2 movies. Thor had a movie.
Well, basically what they did was they went from Captain America First Avenger to Captain America Civil War. And they just crammed all of the other movies into like a small front part.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a tough. I really just. I do find it laughable to try to defend this movie as being good because it's a checklist. It's a fanboy's checklist of what I want to see on the screen, but none of it made any sense to get to those points.
The context didn't make any sense.
The context, it's such an abysmally paced movie.
There's a reason why the only thing people are looking forward to in Justice League is Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Who amazingly is not... Well, not amazingly. We all knew she wasn't going to make this list. So, alright. Mike.
Alright.
We're on number 8, by the way. In case you forgot, we spent a long time on this one.
Oh! We're sticking around for the DCEU a little bit. We got Ryan Reynolds, the Green Lantern.
To infinity and beyond. By the power of Grayskull. What the hell? Come on, if you can find me 100 miles in the middle of nowhere, you think they...
Brightest day and blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's life.
Because who wants to see Green Lantern fight Sinestro? No, let's see him fight a giant poo cloud from space.
Yeah. Steve writes, Green Lantern film school should show this to students as an example of how not to use Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces as a storytelling device. This, oh my god. Mike and I had the theater almost all to ourselves to see this movie, which was great because within 5 minutes I'm already shouting, oh great, daddy issues.
He did. He really, really did.
Yeah, it was, oh god. How do you... Why is Hal Jordan such a friggin' douche nozzle?
Woefully miscast.
To be fair, he's a douche nozzle in the comic books.
Yeah, but he's more of like a crew cut douche nozzle.
No, he's not.
He's not a party boy. At least I'm going with the original Hal Jordan.
No, Hal Jordan. No, ever since the Bronze Age, ever since the 70s, ever since the Denny O'Neil run,
right,
of Green Lantern. Hal Jordan's a douche.
Right.
He is the typical cocky Air Force.
Ever since the Green Lantern Green Arrow cross.
Denny O'Neil's run. He has been a douche nozzle. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I mean, he's obnoxious, arrogant.
Occasionally evil.
Well, that's because of the parallax, but that's a whole other story. He's a douche nozzle. So I had no problem with the casting of Ryan Reynolds.
No, I did.
It's the story just... Like you said, why wouldn't we want to see him? Why wouldn't we want to see Sinestro turn bad and see him fight him?
Right. No,
that's the whole point.
Why would you make your inaugural villain Hector Hammond?
Who?
Hector Hammond.
Hector Hammond.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
the sick thing is, I was looking so forward to Green Lantern. Green Lantern's one of my favorite DC heroes. I love Green Lantern.
I was too, because the potential of the Power Ring, the most powerful weapon in the universe.
The one weapon that can possibly subdue Superman.
Right, exactly.
Right. And the issue is, I think, the movie's conversation went... I mean, apart from the fact the movie's just plain bad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the conversation went away from the actual movie itself and went into the suit. There was more discussion about that CG suit where he looks like a floating head.
Right, exactly.
Never once looked right. they did stuff like, I remember reading articles about how, well, you'll be able to see his toes because like the boots are translucent, and it's like, wow, then you don't see his junk.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, there was stuff about the movie I didn't mind though. The stuff on Oa when he was like training.
Yes, the stuff with Kilowog was pretty fun.
Yeah,
it
Kilowog was awesome. But then they decided, let's chuck that out the window. Let's do all this junky stuff. Now.
Yeah, we spent 5 minutes here. Let's move Blake Lively needs some time on screen.
Yeah.
Why you don't make Sinestro the main antagonist? I don't know.
No, honestly,
it would have worked, and it would have worked even if they introduced him as the antagonist halfway through the movie.
Well, it would have worked if they started from the beginning, because in the comic books, you don't know. I mean, you don't find out that Sinestro used to be a Green Lantern until way, way, way after.
Right.
After the initial comic book came
because
out.
It felt to me like when he does take the yellow ring at the end, post credits, it really felt like it came out of nowhere.
Right, exactly.
He just spent the entire movie learning that Will in the Green Lantern is more powerful than Fear and the Yellow Lantern.
Fuck it, give me that. I feel like lemonade today.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did not like Ryan Reynolds' casting for it.
I like the casting, but
I thought he was too snarky, too sarcastic for it.
That's Hal Jordan's character.
He was too close to have been removed from waiting at that point.
Yeah.
In order to really the Ryan Reynolds that we get now. I mean, thank God, the Ryan Reynolds we get now is Wade Wilson.
Right.
Thank Christ.
See, his portrayal I thought was a better fit for like a Kyle Rayner type character. I've always seen Hal Jordan as more square jaw, crew cut, more.
Not.
That's how I've seen it.
Right.
All right. That's how I.
The other thing too, and this, let's just get into the massive missed boat that they could have taken with Green Lantern. Jon Stewart.
Oh, Jon Stewart.
How would you have liked to been the first major, and we're excluding Blade entirely from this conversation.
Which I'm surprised none of the. Anyways,
Blade Trinity got quite a few
they
votes.
came close.
But how do you exclude? You could have had the first major motion picture with a recognizable superhero played by an African American.
Idris Elba.
That would have been
Jonathan
awesome.
Stewart.
And you know what? Given how pretty much at that point. Most people were familiar with Green Lantern from the animated show.
Right, exactly.
That was Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. It was for a lot of millennial kids. Jon Stewart is Green Lantern.
It made the most sense.
Yeah. Now
and they
right
it over.
Now, unless they decide, because God knows, you're someone in DC is probably listening to this.
I love Guy Gardner.
Fuck Guy Gardner.
I think Guy Gardner's awesome.
I wear a turtleneck.
I've got a bowl cut, and it's the 80s.
He's the only man who's given Batman the Moon Batman up in the Justice League Tower.
Jesus. I just think that, because someone from WBDC is listening to this right now.
Oh, yeah.
They legitimately have 6 months to crank out a Jon Stewart
I bet
Green Lantern before Black Panther comes out, right?
No, I bet you it's Jon Stewart in the Justice League that Alfred's talking to.
I think that's Superman.
No, that's Superman.
They have made that so patently clear. Oh, because just in case you were wondering, he's not dead.
Oh, shit, really?
The hell you say?
I love that thing on Nostalgia Critic where they're talking, where they got the guy playing Zack Snyder talking about maybe, just maybe, there's hope that he'll come back after all. And this guy, Angry Joe, the video game guy, just stands up, brushes himself off, straightens his collar, looks at him, points, no, and then goes off on a 3-minute rant about how you earned none of this. You didn't earn the death of Superman. You didn't even earn Doomsday.
Nope.
All right. Okay. Joe, number 7.
All right. Coming in at number 7. Now, which Hulk is this one?
It's
Ang
just
Lee or
Hulk. It's just
Ang Lee.
Hulk.
Puny human.
Oh, God.
All right, see. Steve writes, Dear Hollywood, stop giving potential tentpole franchises to art house directors with no knowledge of the source material and very little experience within the genre.
This is the second movie in a row where the hero has to fight a giant cloud at the end.
Exactly. Jesus. But that cloud is like a cloud of like Schlitz and pot and
with
meat
daddy
smoke.
issues.
With daddy issues.
The sad thing, the third movie where they have to fight a cloud at the end didn't quite make the move. Didn't quite make the list.
Oh God, this is just so.
Why do superheroes hate clouds?
I don't know.
I like clouds.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah. I mean, Hulk would at least be upset about Cloud. Cloud anger, Hulk.
Cloud your firm, son. I was getting tan.
Oh God, this one. What's sick about this movie is I want to think that it had some potential somewhere along the line before somebody decided to stop rendering the Hulk special effect.
Oh,
when
God.
you look, all right, go back.
Oh, I remember now.
Look at the special effects for every scene the Hulk is in. First of all, his purple pants are painted on with like MS Paint. They don't even look like real clothes. Like they couldn't even be bothered to come up with some semblance of texture or anything. They look like they're painted on. There's this one scene where he's trapped in like that big foam ball, and it's just like this kind of floating head on top of a prop.
This floating misshapen head.
Oh God!
And how big the Hulk is entirely depends on which scene you're at.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that's right, because it wasn't scaled right.
He grows
never
and shrinks
scaled down.
depending on which scene.
Sometimes he's big enough to spin a tank.
Yeah, I remember watching the making of, and like Ang Lee did all the motion capture for the Hulk. Not Eric Bana, Ang Lee.
Oh God! He weighs like 90 pounds, and then what he tries to do is because he never read comic books, so every frame he wants to make it feel like you're watching a comic book.
Also, every scene transition
every
was a comic book
transition,
panel,
even when it didn't require it.
Yeah.
It's like there's this scene between Sam Elliott, who was the perfect Thunderbolt Ross. I'll give them props on casting for that because that man's got a mustache. And Jennifer Connelly, and they're sitting in a diner. And they're doing that transition wipe with the thick comic book panel in between them. It's like, stop it! Just stop it right now!
There was a sketch on Robot Chicken where they have Ang Lee talking about his making of the Hulk. He's like, I wanted to make it like pretty haiku, pretty bird floating so free.
God.
Didn't this like Ang Lee stop making movies for a while after this? Like,
I think his next movie was Life of Pi.
No. 2 years later, his movie was Brokeback Mountain, and he won an Oscar for it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. So this really didn't hurt his career at all because he's won two fucking Oscars since then.
Good for him.
Life of Pi.
The movie you made right before this was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, though.
Yes, yeah, that's the movie that got him the job.
Yeah, that's the movie that put him on the map.
Oh, this movie though. I mean, I feel bad for Eric Bana because I still don't feel like Eric Bana's gotten a fair shake anywhere.
That sense, no.
No, I mean he was in Munich, and that's how all Jews get laid now. It's because of Eric Bana in Munich.
And he was in
Star Trek. Yeah, he was Nero. That's exactly how he said it.
And
that's it.
I'm sure he's been in some
He's
other
done
things.
some other things. I think he's done a couple of Nicholas Sparks movies at this point, but
who hasn't?
Who hasn't?
Ryan Reynolds has done a Nicholas Sparks movie.
And you know the other thing too, this is another movie like Batman vs Superman that is just so long.
Yeah.
It's
right, because I remember you thought it was over, and wait a second, there's enough. Now he's got to fight dogs. He's got to fight a mutant poodle.
That was seriously 45. You're not introduced into the Hulk until almost an hour into the movie, and that's when he fights the mutated poodle.
Because you got to have mutated poodles.
Right, but by the 2 hour and 30-minute mark, I think is finally when he fights Daddy, played by Nick Nolte, who honestly every day looked like he rolled out of a can of Schlitz.
It's Nick Nolte. He did roll out of a can of Schlitz every day.
Jesus.
PBR.
Oh, God.
No. PBR is too high class for Nick Nolte.
Okay. Yeah, oh, man. And Jennifer Connelly should just... Is it just me, or did we get had with A Beautiful Mind? Because I feel like sometimes she's just not a good actress.
I don't care. She's too good looking. She's too good looking to look at.
Yeah,
and she's got a great voice.
Yeah, that's what it is. The voice.
Well, no,
yeah,
Amazing Spider-Man.
Those voice.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she was doing that.
Yeah,
she was the voice.
She was the voice of what do you call him?
I forget.
I don't remember either. But anyway, all right, number 6.
It's you,
Catwoman.
I can't believe I've trusted you. You're a fake.
And what are you, a hero? A thief? A freak? If you don't have an identity, why keep it a secret?
Because you killed me. It was me you flushed down the pipes. I'm Patience Phillips.
That's who's under there?
Let me get my.
Who here has seen Catwoman?
I have.
I know.
I took a fucking bullet for this show.
You did
years ago to watch this movie.
It's available on Netflix, and every day I was like, I would look at it, I was like, nah, I don't feel like watching it today.
Steve writes, Catwoman. Other films on this list have destroyed careers, but Catwoman is the only one bad enough to bring down Halle Berry at the peak of her fame.
It was.
Alright, you know how bad this movie was?
Did this come out before or after Swordfish?
This came out after Swordfish.
Did it?
This movie came out after the Oscar. This movie came out
after X-Men.
After X-Men, and this movie...
get out!
And this movie came out after Die Another Day.
Did it come out after X2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 2004.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Okay, so let's talk about... Have you seen...
Okay.
Am I the only person who's seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie came out 7 years after Batman and Robin.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was while Batman Begins was in
a year away.
Was in production.
Yeah.
Halle Berry.
I just want to point out at this point, we had already arrived to 2 Spider-Man movies by the time this movie came out. 2 good Spider-Man movies.
Right, two movies that revived the comic book genre.
Yeah, 2 good Spider-Man movies. One X-Men movie and one really, really good X-Men movie.
Right.
And Hulk! And Daredevil. Yeah. This movie, though... No, so Steve's right. This destroyed her career because do you remember... After Die Another Day came out, they're like, we were going to make a series of Jinx movies for Halle Berry.
Yep.
So they were going to finally put a side character, a James Bond side character in her own movie. This put the kibosh on all
nobody
of that.
Nobody heard word about Jinx after that.
Oh my god, this movie is... First of all, this movie is written by people who have never, ever read a Catwoman comic book or seen any interpretation of Catwoman ever. She's her own character. She actually takes on the personality of a cat, like she's eating tuna out of a can. And
so she's Selena Kyle, but there's no Bruce Wayne in this
But
world.
she's not Selena Kyle, though. I think she's
Patience.
Patience something or other.
Yeah.
So she's not even the Selena...
No, she's not even the Catwoman.
She's a Catwoman.
There's no Batman in this world.
There's no Batman. The only... I mean, alright, so...
Does she live in Gotham?
No. Yeah. Sharon Stone is the villain in this movie, and her only crime is that she's creating a series of cosmetics that prematurely age people, so they need to buy more of it. Exactly. Sharon Stone, who was 12 years removed from Basic Instinct at that point.
You know, after this shit and Elektra, I'm surprised Wonder Woman never got made.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halle Berry was basically like, I want a larger role in X-Men. You're not giving me, so I'll start my own movie now.
Yep.
And then can I come back for that Days of Future Past?
No, she came back for X3.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Talk about slumming it. The costume is just, it's pure fetish.
Yeah.
It is a pure fetish outfit.
But not in the good fetish like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Right, exactly. I mean, the Michelle Pfeiffer costume, as movie costumes go, the Michelle Pfeiffer Batman Returns Catwoman costume is iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks silly. It just looks really, really like someone legitimately threw it together. I mean, unlike, Selena Kyle in Batman Returns, that she did, throw it together.
Right.
But
and
she
it looks
stitched
awesome.
it together.
She did. She stitched vinyl together.
Because why not?
Why not? Right. Yeah, I guess it's kind of hard to keep mind being the only person to talk about this one. It truly is a bad movie. Like I want to rub its nose and poop. It's
laid a dog poop bag on and put it on our porch.
Yes, exactly. All right, Mike, number 5, and holy shit, I didn't realize we were gonna have a tie-in.
Yeah, number 5. Speaking of what Halle Berry left Catwoman the day after Catwoman, X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
This is bad.
This was bad.
All right,
I thought this movie was going to end the X-Men cinematic franchise. Period.
Oh, it came close to.
Practically
it
did.
Came really damn close.
Until First Class came along, I thought X-Men was dead as a movie.
Oh, actually, there was one movie after this, but before X-Men First Class. X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, you.
Yep.
Which came close.
Came close. Not nearly as close as I thought it would. But...
Very, very close.
Yeah,
It's 2 removed from the list.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got last minute vote.
Wow. All right. Where do we get started with X3? First of all, it's the first movie that Bryan Singer took himself off of.
Yep.
Actually, 1 second, I've got.
So Fox was like, we got that guy who did all the Rush Hour movies, Rush Hour, X-Men. It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. By the way, Steve writes, when Bryan Singer quit this movie to do Superman Returns, he ruined both movies in the process, and I will never, ever forgive him.
I don't know. He also did Usual Suspects.
He did, yeah, but he did that. That's how he got the X-Men job.
I know, but I will always have.
I love that movie. But anyway, yes, X3. First of all, is directed by Brett Ratner, who is awful.
Yes.
He's just a bad director who doesn't understand his source material.
I wouldn't call him a director per se.
Actually, I believe that when you use the word, Honest Trailers used director.
Yeah, I would put him as someone who stands behind the camera and makes bad decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, you take what is hands down the most popular story in the X-Men lore, and maybe, arguably, one of the most popular stories in comic book history.
One of the most iconic. At least
Yeah.
Not only that, but after the ending of X2, where you see the Phoenix form appearing on that lake, and everyone was like, "Oh, the Phoenix Saga!" And
many a chamber pot needed to be emptied after X2.
Oh, and Matthew Vaughn was slated to direct.
Yep. It is. All right. There's just so.
I don't know if it's maybe it's not the director. Maybe it's the. I mean, I know Brett Ratner sucks as a director, but Simon Kimber was the writer too.
Right. So. There was a lot of bad decisions in this movie.
And I know if I can control all forms of metal, I want to build my base in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Because that makes complete and total sense, right?
Right in the woods.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Magneto taking over the Morlocks. The fact that they threw the word mutant around really like it was Tic Tacs. It was just oh, you're a mutant. What do you do? Well, I'm just ugly. Okay, then you're a mutant.
You're a mutant.
Yeah. There were points when they referred to the cure for your mutation as just cure. That's all it was. So there's this scene where the army is rushing in. They're getting their special plastic cure guns, and this is the voice of R. Lee Ermey, by the way, narrating that they need their cure bullets and their cure guns, and and there's so many characters they got wrong.
They couldn't even get the Phoenix Force right.
Juggernaut. They didn't get that right at all. I really, it was really what I liked about the comic books was that they always kind of they always handled the implied romance between Jean and Logan with a very subtle hand.
Right.
It was what it was. You knew it was there, but they didn't.
But you always knew. It was always Jean and Scott.
Yeah.
And then Logan kind of pining.
Logan on the outside.
Pining for Jean, and Jean kind of aware of it, but...
But this movie... And
Jean
honestly,
occasionally dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
This movie, and going forward into the Wolverine, it's like they just lubed up a fist and just, like, jammed it in there. It's just, yes, we get it. Oh my God, do we get it? Well, Scott's dead now, so now she can go bang Logan. And,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, and Scott dying. That was a great way to sign him off so he can go and do Superman Returns.
Yes,
right?
in a thankless role.
Yeah.
God.
Way to be Clark Kent's cook. Oh God. And, all right, so they got him right. Juggernaut. How do you mess up Vinnie
Juggernaut?
Jones? When I heard Vinnie Jones was going to play Juggernaut, I'm like, all right, I'm on board.
There's just one line and that's the only reason that they put Juggernaut in the movie.
I'm the Juggernaut,
bitch. Because that was already 5 years old.
Well, Vinnie Jones saying it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they really just didn't do enough with Kitty Pryde. Colossus looked ridiculous. Because in X2, when they brought him in, they had actually done the CG for Colossus. But for X3, Ratner decided to give him a costume.
Oh, that's right.
So it was like a tin mask and tin arms, and he looked ridiculous.
There's one casting of that I really did like. Kelsey Grammer as the Beast.
Yes. Yeah, and that actually stayed in for Days of Futures Past.
Yeah.
No, he was very good.
Yes, he was. Well, it's Kelsey Grammer.
It's Kelsey Grammer, exactly. But, yeah, Halle Berry is so out of place in that movie.
She thought she was underused in X2.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing compared to what they did with her in X3.
At this point, though, they turn into Wolverine movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, Hugh Jackman is brilliant. Hugh Jackman may very well be the most perfect casting of a superhero ever.
That doesn't mean he's always got great things to work with.
Exactly. He's had some dogs.
Yeah, and then...
But I just remember Jim. Jim was so angry because this is his favorite story of all time. And
how do you mess up the Phoenix side?
Part of it is that they spent no time developing it. It's an alternate personality. And it's not an alternate personality.
No, you know what? This is the perfect example of a director who does not read or doesn't care about the source material.
Right. Yes.
Honestly, it's the main reason why I'm not really all that looking forward to the Dr. Phoenix movie that's coming up next.
Who the hell knows?
Because it's being directed by Simon Kinberg, who wrote X3. And also, we met and got introduced to the Phoenix in like half of X-Men Apocalypse.
Right.
And now they're basing the entire next movie about her.
Yep.
The build-up from X-Men 1 to X2 to what could have been the Dark Phoenix saga was perfect.
2016 was a weird year for Fox because, I mean, I enjoyed Apocalypse.
I didn't.
Obviously it was nowhere near as good as the two that preceded it. But yeah, there was some... I honestly felt they didn't give it enough time. That could have easily been 2 movies.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But 2016 was like, Fox can make R-rated comic book movies now, and they'll be really good. And then this year, another one.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. And when New Mutants comes out, that's going to be rated R. They just need to get away from the X-Men now and stick with the R-rated stuff because A, it makes more money.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I honestly, I don't know. I don't have a comparison in front of me. What Apocalypse did versus what Deadpool did. Yeah, Mike's doing it now.
Deadpool must have
Deadpool was... Oh, absolutely.
Deadpool did like 750, 760 worldwide.
I think maybe Apocalypse did 300 mil.
So which timeline is this?
Are you taking me to see Patrick Stewart or James McAvoy? I get so confused. All right, shall we move on?
We shall.
Hold on.
All right, yeah. All right, before we continue on, what is that? What does that mean?
Worldwide box office $543.
Oh, it made $500 million. Holy shit!
Deadpool made $200 million more.
Right. For an R-rated movie that wasn't shown
on a $60 million budget.
True.
Versus this one's $178 million budget.
Oh, God. All right. Next up, No, actually, it's you, Joe.
Oh, is it?
Number 4.
Sam, you let me down. Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
Emo Toby.
Never wound what you can't kill.
Eddie, the suit. You gotta take it off.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
I know what it feels like. It feels good. The power. Everything. But you'll lose yourself. Let it go.
I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Emo Toby. Steve writes, this is what happens when the studio doesn't have the stones to fire a director they pissed off so bad that he deliberately attempts to scuttle the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm going to say my piece about Spider-Man 3.
Here we go.
This was a letdown. I don't think it is a particularly awful movie.
Again.
I still think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is worse than this.
Like Dave said, this is a meh movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as if it's like a terrible movie, but I honestly can't see too many people actually enjoying this movie though. Because
it's tough to enjoy because there's so much pathos going on in the entire thing.
Just on YouTube the other day, I flicked it on and I was like, I was trying to find something, so I looked it up. And I tried watching the scene where Emo Tobey Maguire is walking down the street. I watched that for like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I flicked it off. It was just such a painful thing to watch.
It is.
There's no point to it in being in the movie.
Right.
Never once has in the comics has the Venom symbiote made someone like an emo.
No, all the Venom suit, all the symbiote did. What is that?
My dryer.
Oh. All the symbiote in the comic books, all the symbiote did was make Pete more aggressive.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't turn him into an emo douchebag.
Yeah.
It enhances aggression and like rage and anger.
Right.
It
Exactly.
feeds on negative emotions. It doesn't make you like comb your hair like down in the front and then like
doesn't make you super.
No, it didn't turn him into an arrogant. It doesn't turn him into an arrogant asshole. It just makes him more angry, more aggressive.
Part of the issue with this, first of all, so I remember listening to the How Did This Get Made about Spider-Man 3, and like, for a city as big as New York, there's an awful lot of coincidences happening. It's just, there are far too many villains in it. When you factor in that Franco plays the first villain, he looked terrible. It was just a bad look.
It was.
You know what?
That was a better version of the Goblin than
in defense.
Defoe?
No. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh god.
In defense of Sam who played Sandman.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church. He was actually
good
job. He did a very good, he was compelling villain as Sandman.
If he was the only villain in this movie, it would have been hell of a lot better.
But he's the Sandman. He's such a C-list villain for Spider-Man.
He's a henchman. He's a henchman.
Right.
Okay, Iron Man was a C-list hero for Marvel. You can make it work.
Right.
It's not it's how you handle the character and write him. His story, his backstory was very compelling. You know, and he would have done if like you said, if the focus was just on him as the antagonist, they probably could have made a good movie with.
Considering how much time they spent on his origin, that when you watch him getting turned into sand, that's fucking heartbreaking.
It is, exactly.
And they did Sam Raimi did a good job with that.
Well, Sam Raimi just wanted Sandman. That's all.
And that didn't preclude having the symbiote, but you could have left that off for another film.
Right.
And that's the thing.
That's the thing. People, if I remember, Spidey wore the symbiote costume for almost a year, a couple of years before he figured out, hey, maybe I should take this thing off. It's doing something to me.
That's the thing that really kind of bugged me the most about this movie is that Venom. I know you're not a big fan of him, but
I like Venom as the character. Topher Grace
as Venom. No,
what?
Venom has always been my favorite.
Topher Grace as Eddie Brock just does not work.
Yeah, Venom has always been my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
and that was not. I mean, there were flashes of the Venom that I loved in that movie, but overall, it was not the Venom that
Based
I
on what they
see.
were trying to attempt with the body framing of Topher Grace, I got to admit I did like the design of Venom the way it was. I would have preferred the larger, the bulkier.
No, as far as the costume, I would have preferred the comic book. Correct.
Right.
I don't know if you could have pulled it off.
I don't know. I didn't mind that because it kind of like
it added texture to the.
It made it that's just the dark flip side of Spider-Man.
But again, if I was, the one directing or was a judge, Sandman is the antagonist. You introduce the symbiote through and make that have that just be the costume.
Right.
There's something more to it, but just be the costume for the third. Then make Venom into the villain, the protagonist in the fourth movie.
But can we talk about what was truly the worst thing about this movie? Harry's butler. I dressed his wounds as he died.
Dime store Alfred.
Oh my god. He was like, everything was delivered like this. I've always loved you.
I dressed his wounds as he died. And you felt it prudent not to tell me. Because why?
You see me flying to a drunken rage on a nightly basis? I have cirrhosis of the liver because of Spider-Man? Just because you couldn't just bother to tell
me that he was the Green Goblin?
Oh, so bad. Alright. Moving on. Oh, I think it's me.
It is you.
Yeah. Alright. Number 3. Spawn.
What? Hey, easy with that face of meat. Oops. Oh, what? I hope I didn't stain my underwear. Ah, look at that. Skid marks.
Get away from me, you freak.
And the winners are Wanda and Terry, multiplying like rabbits. And jumping, and pumping, and doing, and...
You stay away from her.
I don't want Wanda. I want you to take care of Win. And then you and the army can kick some angelic buttocks. And in return for your services, we'll get Wanda back for you. Heck, you can have everyone on the planet. Why settle for leftovers, huh? I like to say, how you kill me. Go ahead, son. You do it.
This is awesome.
Steve writes about Spawn. If I could find it on my thing. Good lord. God damn it, it went away again. That's weird. First of all, what I'm going to say about Spawn is I am amazed it is this high up on the list.
I am too.
You think so? Why?
Part of it is because when I worked at Suncoast, again, Suncoast Story, and this movie came out, people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. It's just
was... When did this movie come out?
96.
Yeah.
No, 97. 97.
It was the mid-90s. That was the McFarlane mania, so...
All right. Steve wrote, I'm surprised that Spawn made it so high on the list since most of us have kind of forgotten that Spawn existed. Yeah. This is an ugly movie.
I mean, it's early. It was early in the days of CGI.
Not really, though. Jurassic Park did a really good job 4 years before this.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park. But you know the total number of minutes in Jurassic Park with CGI.
True.
Yeah.
Compared to what they were trying to do with Spawn,
with what they're trying to with a cape.
Still.
The cape.
Still.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, you can't forget the fantastic casting of John Leguizamo.
Oh my god. Hey, John, here's what we need you to do. Do a lot of we're going to put you in a lot of latex, but you're essentially going to do Jim Carrey in The Mask, only with more like ball sweat and fart jokes.
Yeah. Can't have... No, wait. It's a demonic clown. We've got to have the fart jokes. Don't lay on the fart jokes,
Can you
please.
pull out your underwear? Can you pull out your underwear without taking your pants off? I would appreciate that. Can you make a skid marks reference now? All right. There was so many things wrong with this movie. First of all, the costume, which everybody raved about. When you actually look at the costume, it looks like a costume.
Right.
It just looks like somebody was like, here, put this on. They, for the most part, had him with his with the mask off the entire time. I mean, like latter-day Spider-Man movies do.
Those I gotta say, those scenes when he was in hell, that CG is just mind-bogglingly awesome.
Really? No. Yeah, I know.
Sarcastic.
Oh God, no. It honestly, it's like one of those things where you watch, like when you watch King Kong, that Peter Jackson King Kong on a high-definition TV now, and you're like, yeah, those things are happening on two completely different planes of reality.
when he's talking to what was that demon, like Marfistola?
I don't know. I didn't read enough Spawn because I always thought Todd McFarlane is kind of a backslapping douchebag.
Whenever Spawn is in hell, I thought I was watching like a PlayStation 1 cutscene.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like.
A lot of orange. A lot of orange. A lot of orange and red.
Yeah.
I'm amazed you didn't see like a little Ubisoft in the bottom corner.
Oh, come on. Ubisoft was a lot better than that. Yeah, Sega. That's more like it.
Yeah, it's just I remember also when they released the action figures. Again, this is all the Suncoast stuff.
Oh yeah, Suncoast was big on McFarlane toys.
Oh my God, we carried so many of them, and the most inarticulate. And I'm saying that as a truthism. The most inarticulate, good-looking toys you could ever buy.
They were basically statuettes.
They're statuettes.
Yeah,
statuettes with like 2 points of articulation.
Exactly. I actually own a couple of McFarlane movie characters. I own the Crow, which has exactly 2 points of articulation in his arms. I have Edward Scissorhands, which has a little more articulation, and I have Ichabod Crane.
Oh, from
Johnny Depp's, the slut from Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they're just like, they just do nothing. They
look good,
stand it. Look good, yeah, but they stand there.
It's kind of like Hot Toys, but
says the man who keeps his Star Wars black figures in boxes.
Shut your mouth. Of course I do that.
So they're like Hot Toys, but without the playability factor.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, Hot Toys comes with like 30 points of articulation.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hell, more than that.
Should for $600.
You do like each finger.
But again, this is one of those movies that when it came out, people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. And it was like, the biggest crime with this movie was, it's an R-rated movie that was rated PG-13.
Yeah.
It easily could, and they made an R-rated cut, and it was just like, very much like the R-rated cut of BVS.
Yeah.
Ooh, he said fuck once.
Oh.
Well, alright, there's your R-rating right there.
Nah, you can get away with one fuck.
No, you can, but that was the R rating right there. Have you seen Battle of the Five Armies, the Hobbit Five Armies, the director's cut?
No.
The R-rated cut?
No.
There's no reason why that movie should be rated R. None.
Well, it's the Hobbit, of course not.
Right. So, but yeah, no, Spawn is very, like Steve said, it is a forgettable movie.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting we talked about it right now. What were we talking about?
I think we were talking about number 2.
Okay, which is what?
Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Where is the woman?
Give it up. You'll never find her.
If you will not tell me, I will hurt people.
Written by Christopher Reeves.
Big Christopher Reeves, yep. Steve writes, the best part about Superman 4 is that Menachem Golem thought he could pull it off. This is one of those famous canon movies where you notice the exact point that they ran out of money.
Yep.
This is... oh, God. I am amazed they got Gene Hackman back. They couldn't get... Here's the thing.
That's where all the money went to.
Right. The Salkinds feud... The Salkinds weren't producing this one.
Right.
So the feud that pretty much kept Margot Kidder and Gene Hackman out of 3 because they were defenders of Richard Donner.
Yeah.
Those are gone now. They had a new director. They had a new series of producers.
Who was the director for that?
You know what? I'm going to double check that. But this. Your villain, ladies and gentlemen, the Nuclear Man, voiced by Gene Hackman, because the guy who they got to play him, Mark
Pillows.
Mark Pillow, it was a terrible actor.
Sidney J. Furie.
Okay, yeah, find out what else he... Yeah, because that is actually a name of somebody.
Mm.
Nope, you got it?
What's his
Wow.
What's his filmography?
He's been around since 1958.
Yeah. Really not a whole lot, it looks like.
Nothing really of... Oh, wait, he directed Ladybugs.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh, he also directed the Iron Eagle movies. Also canon classics.
And he also wrote those, too.
Oh,
Jesus. Good God. It explains a lot.
Yep.
He directed The Entity.
Whenever you hear about people talking about superheroes, the one thing they always say is, we try to keep them out of real-life world scenarios.
Right, because that's one thing you always, in the back of your head in the comic books. Superman is a demigod. Why does he just take care of all the nuclear weapons?
Right.
You're supposed to take yourself out of those situations.
Right. But by the time this movie came out, the Soviet Union was failing as it was. Gorbachev was already there. We really were out of the Cold War at this point. It just wasn't official yet.
Right. It was the writing was on the wall.
Right, but this was the political tree they decided to hang themselves from.
Yeah.
By taking all the nuclear weapons in a giant net that Superman would, poorly edited, spin around and throw into the sun. The flight sequences.
Oh.
They reused the same forward flying shot for every single scene. There's even one of him flying through a subway tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's too big to kind of fit in the subway tunnel. Like the cut is just too big.
Yeah. And you don't need it. I learned that you don't need a spacesuit to live in space.
Oh God, no! At least for 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Because Nuclear Man took what's her name pretty much halfway to the moon.
Yep.
Which then Superman, to defeat the Nuclear Man, pushes the moon in front of the sun.
And to think it'd be 19 years before we saw another Superman movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that completely erased the existence of this one.
So
that one, by the way.
So it'd be 19 years between this and Superman Returns, which, like you said, erased Superman 3.
Superman Returns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Superman Returns 3 and 4 didn't happen in that timeline. Which then it'd be another 7 years before we get Man of Steel.
Right.
How can you screw up Superman, DC?
Well, they don't give him anybody to punch, and when they do give him somebody to punch, they kind of suck.
That's true.
Now I had actually I put my vote in actually for 3 because, and I don't want to get too much in because it's not part of the list, but I did 3 because they had studio money behind them, like real Warner Brothers money behind them, and they still managed to essentially make it a half-wit Richard Pryor comedy.
Well, yeah, because most of the money went to Richard Pryor.
That's true.
And The Blow.
Yeah. But,
can't forget about The Blow.
Just discussing in terms of which was a worse Superman movie. I mean, yeah, Superman does a lot of shitty things, like take away nuclear weapons and, push the moon out of its alignment.
No, that's not going to affect it.
But there's that one scene in Superman 3 where Robert Vaughn's accomplice, the blonde, is on top of the Statue of Liberty, and he rapes the shit out of her.
Which always brings up the immortal question that they brought up in not Clerks, but the sequel.
Mallrats.
Mallrats,
yeah. Let's shoot a load like a shotgun. Well, we know that Superman does like his wild turkey, though.
Yep.
All right.
And his peanuts.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Jesus. So bad. Why are these movies so bad?
And who knew that Superman could almost be killed by radioactive fingernails?
Yeah. That do cut into him and then that aren't mentioned ever again.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get on to some of the honorable mentions. These were a couple of movies that we were quickly going to talk about that just barely made the list. Starting with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We all saw this in an empty theater together.
Yes, we did.
Holy hell.
This was a bad movie.
You know what the sin of this movie was, besides the fact that it was awful and it did not learn a thing from Spider-Man 3? This was the universe-building movie.
Well, they decided to also have every single tone under the sun, except for the one where it's a good comic book movie.
Right.
It's like let's make it lighthearted here. Where
which is too bad because I thought Andrew Garfield was awesome.
I gotta say, Andrew Garfield deserved better movies.
Yeah.
And
the first Amazing Spider-Man was not bad. I mean,
I
it
didn't
was okay.
like Amazing Spider-Man, but it is The Godfather Part 2 compared to Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Which is The Godfather Part 3.
3, yeah. So much universe building. Oh, okay, we're doing a Sinister Six movie now. Don't pay attention. What's all this stuff behind me?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have Max Dillon be all crazy and kooky, and let's have him fall into a pool with ravenous eels eating his flesh. All right, yeah, that kids will love that, right?
All right, Ghost Rider, the movie that Nicolas Cage thought would put him out of debt. It's just one of those things that begs the question: who the fuck cares about Ghost Rider?
You know what? I didn't. It wasn't a good movie.
No, honestly, you know what?
I like Ghost Rider so much. He's actually
the character has a lot of potential, but
he's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
I mean, honestly, I'm amazed Ghost Rider: Spirit of Justice, Vengeance didn't show up on this list instead.
I still
mainly because that's the movie about the baby peeing fire.
Well, yeah, but I think everyone saw Ghost Rider, and then nobody saw Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Because nobody saw it.
All right, Judge Dredd. Stallone is Judge Dredd. He is
I am the law.
Oh my god. You know what the sick thing is? You know what's such a good movie?
Dredd with Kyle Urban.
Way better.
Way better.
And that's even... This is a bad movie, and you don't even have to compare it to Dredd. Everyone knows this is a terrible movie. Stallone wanted to do the entire movie without the helmet on.
Yeah.
The iconic Judge Dredd helmet.
Yeah, no.
All right, Green Hornet. Honestly, out of everything on here, it's
so.
the only one I haven't seen.
I haven't seen it.
Nope. It's Seth Rogen, and he gets stoned.
That's it.
All right. And Daredevil. Again, I don't think this is the crime against humanity everyone makes it out to be.
I do not mind Daredevil.
I don't mind Daredevil at all.
It's not great by any means. No. It's not even really that good. There are some very redeemable things about this movie.
The scenes of Affleck having to deal with the aftermath of being a Daredevil. You know, like him just like all the medications he has to take, and having to sleep in a sleep deprivation tank,
spitting out teeth, and
just like you could see the daily pain he has to go through just to be Daredevil.
Honestly, I think this Daredevil would be perfectly at home on Dave's list of meh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but it really wasn't great.
The only real reason to buy this DVD, I don't even know if they put it still out with the DVD, there is a...
Director's cut.
Excellent. Well, no. There is an excellent Daredevil documentary about the history of Daredevil. It is worth buying the DVD just for that. It's so good.
Isn't that one done by Kenneth Smith?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, Kevin Smith does talk about, because they bring in all the writers. Like, they're talking about when John Romita Jr. took over, because it was his audition reel before we went to Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's recap real quick the 15 before we get to the number 1. Number 15, Howard the Duck.
Number 14, The Phantom.
Number 13, The Spirit.
Number 12, Fan Forstick.
Number 11, Suicide Squad.
10, Elektra.
Number 9, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Number 8, Green Lantern.
7, Hulk.
6, Catwoman.
5, X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
Number 4, Spider-Man 3.
Number 3, Spawn.
Number 2, Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
And the number 1 worst movie as voted on by you, the Geek Salad audience, Joe.
The movie that nearly destroyed the comic book genre. Batman and Robin.
Is anyone surprised?
No. In fact, Steve said, and finally, to the surprise of exactly 0 people, a bunch of surly drunken nerds put Batman and Robin at the top of this list.
$1 million.
$2 million.
You don't have it. $3 million.
I'll borrow it from you. $4 million.
$5 million.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. $6 million.
7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
Not necessarily
Everybody.
Everybody.
This was the runaway #1 worst movie.
And yet people still kept their careers after this somehow.
This movie, what I find funny about this movie's indefensible. Nobody comes to this movie's defense.
There is no defense for this
People
movie.
have come to Forever's defense. Forever.
Because Batman Forever had its moments. There was something there.
Well, when
there
you
is no defense. There is no defense of Batman.
This is a bad movie. This is bad from the moment it starts.
And the thing that's bad about it, and that's really bad about it, and just makes it that much worse, is that you gotta wonder, did Joel Schumacher go in with the intention of making a bad movie, or did he actually think this was good?
The problem I see with this movie is that it takes the cheesy factor from the 60s.
It's Batman 66 with a high butt with a.
But it's Batman 66. They keep the cheesy factor that was still cheesy back then, and it's even worse now, and they cram it back in there.
Right, it's Batman 66 with blockbuster budget.
Yeah,
is what it is.
In the 90s,
right. 97.
Yeah.
You know, we thought, because I grew up on the Frank Miller. You know, I kind of came of age with the Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns.
The Dark Knight Returns.
The Dark Knight Returns, yeah.
You know, and then there was the Tim Burton Batman, which was
tailor fit for that mold.
Exactly. Yeah. So you had this, and then Batman the Animated Series, which kind of continued that same theme. Then this pile of garbage comes out, and you're like, I thought we outgrew this. I thought with
nobody asked for it.
Right.
Nobody asked for Forever. Certainly nobody asked for this.
We thought with Batman 89, comic books and comic book movies grew up.
Right.
Yeah. You know, then he gives us Batman 66 again.
Yep.
All the schlock.
And when you think about it, too, there weren't a lot of comic book movies that came out in between Batman 89 and Batman and Robin.
No.
You got stuff like, you got Dick Tracy, which essentially is a direct response to Batman.
Exactly, right.
You had The Rocketeer. And then you had a lot of like these silly little movies, like The Shadow, like The Phantom.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot because it was all Batman all the time. And Joel Schumacher, who can be a decent director. I'm not going to call him a good director.
Mississippi Burning is unbelievable.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't do Mississippi Burning. No, he did A Time to Kill.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Really he did a couple of really good John Grisham movies. He did The Lost Boys.
Yes.
But for Batman, first of all, he can't handle a big budget. But he doesn't have the artistic eye for a comic book movie. And it shows. When you see the setup of scenes, there's that scene in Arkham when Poison Ivy and Bane, I'm going to do the finger quotes here on the Bane.
Hulk smash, Bane smash!
When they essentially, they're in Arkham and like the Bane's fist come, through. That shot is just simply straight on with the only framing device being used are Two-Face and Joker's costumes hanging in the background, which is also the only strand of continuity in the entire movie.
But then, what I remember is just seeing like the angled shots, like from
so many Dutch angles.
Dutch angles was like
so many Dutch angles.
That's right. That right there. When you say Batman, this is Batman 66. When he started doing the angle shots, it's like it's Batman. It's Adam West Batman.
Nothing made sense. That. Nothing made sense. Oh, first of all, you've got Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze driving a tank into the third or fourth story, or even higher, of a museum that has fake dinosaurs in it and diamonds in the same exhibit.
The thing is, though, Batman the Animated Series, which is beloved and critically acclaimed, it had been over for about 2 years at that point. And we got
Mask of the Phantasm.
But we got Mr. Freeze in that as a tragic, beloved figure with so many depth and layers, and they just completely chucked that out.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about a lot of the Batman villains is their backstories are very tragic and very kind of empathetic. Like you said,
let's piss that away.
Right.
Piss that
exactly, because they show the tragic story right before he's like leading all of his guys eating frozen food, literally frozen food, and leading them in a rendition of "I'm Mr. Cold Miser."
Yeah, no.
Sing! Schwarzenegger is dreadfully miscast.
Everyone is dreadfully miscast.
Everybody in this movie is dreadfully miscast, but he's the guy who got a fucking tank for making this movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, it's just the ice puns. I hate puns to begin with, so many ice puns. And then the one time he doesn't do an ice pun, it's like, revenge is a dish served ice cold. Well, put on your Sunday best. That is a long way to go for a joke.
That is.
So many things wrong with that. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
2 years after Clueless.
2 years after Clueless. Yeah, they were just going with the zeitgeist.
Like I said, the fact that this movie did not destroy any careers is...
So like, what color hair does Barbara Gordon have?
Blonde, of course.
Oh, wait! She's not Barbara Gordon though.
No, she's Barbara Pennyworth.
Yes,
Uncle Alfred. Because why the fuck not?
Who likes the Batgirl character? Nobody likes that character. We
Nobody
can do
pays
whatever the
attention.
fuck we want with her.
I mean, between Chris O'Donnell, who is a 30-year-old Robin, is just a whiny piece of shit the entire time.
Yeah, he should have been Nightwing by then.
I'm with the car. Chicks dig the car.
Maybe a bus pass. So there's that. Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman, 3 years removed from Pulp Fiction. George Clooney. All right, George Clooney is the one I feel the most worst about because he is at the top of his career at that point, and I genuinely felt like he could have been a good Batman. Had somebody been like, you got to do the voice, George. They can tell it's you. You sound like George Clooney.
And, it's kind of hard to strike terror into the fear of criminals everywhere when your bat suit is silver and shiny.
Right.
Nipples.
Right.
With nipples and a thong. I'm just picturing a criminal going, that looks delightful.
Oh my god. But here's the other thing, too. The weapons, all of their tools in their utility belt were, so specific
to the situation.
You
mean like bat shark repellent?
Yeah. And, there's allowed to be some silliness, but, Batman is in the fucking Batmobile, headed to the scene of the crime when Commissioner Gordon tells him who he's going to be facing up against. It's like, oh shit, I gotta turn around to get all my ice things right now. My ice melting.
Jesus Christ, at least the Batman Arkham games make you work for it.
And let's use a makeshift surfboard to get away from the exploding missile, right? Remember he was surfing who was
Yes, no, they were both surfing. And they were surfing, I would say, maybe a mile up in the air.
Yeah. No danger there, right?
Yeah, there's the Dayglow gangs. There is just so much... Alright, can we just talk for a second about the Elliot Goldenthal score, which essentially is the exact same music that was used in Forever. Nobody got individual themes.
Hold on. I'm just drawing a few connections here. Visible thongs, visible nipples, and lots of black lights around.
Yep.
This is a rave.
It is a rave. No,
the movie's a rave.
And if you listen to the commentary, I bought the Bat Box.
Yeah.
Mainly for the audio commentaries, just to see exactly how sorry Schumacher was. He's not that sorry.
He didn't care because he doesn't care about the character.
Right. No, he thought he was doing something cute. He was like, I'm going to have fun with this character. And good for him that he had fun with it because it nearly killed the genre.
Yeah,
it was 8 years before another Batman movie will come out.
Well, you think about it. I mean, like I said, this movie almost killed the genre. And Blade aside, if it wasn't for Spider-Man...
If it wasn't for Spider-Man and X-Men...
Right.
Yep.
And I remember when Batman Returns or Batman Begins was announced, I'm thinking... Because I'd never heard of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
All I knew him from was from Memento.
Right.
Which was a nice little indie movie. But I'm thinking, well, can this guy handle a big budget movie like Batman?
Right.
I'm thinking, great. We're gonna. I was scared for Batman Begins. I did not think.
I wasn't holding out that much hope. Mainly because also Darren Aronofsky was tied to it at the time.
Yep.
So I didn't really, because I'd seen Requiem for a Dream. But this was just... I mean, this is surely... like Steve had brought up whether or not this or Batman Returns was going to be on his worst list. And I'm like, oh, it's Batman and Robin. It's always Batman and Robin.
Are you seeing Batman Forever? How could Batman Returns be on his list?
Steve hates Batman Returns.
He's fucked.
Yeah, I am, honestly, out of the original 4, Batman Returns is my favorite.
It's better than Batman 89.
I think so. I agree.
Oh, come on.
Uh-oh.
Disagree.
I think Batman Returns is more of a Batman movie than Batman 89.
Part of that, I feel, and this is a conversation for another day. I with Joe primarily because it didn't feel like a studio byproduct.
Exactly.
No, for me, Batman 89 was a better Batman movie. Batman Returns was a better Tim Burton movie.
See, I think Batman 89
Tim Burton movie with Batman.
Batman 89 is more of a Tim Burton movie than Batman.
No, see, Batman 89 was a Batman movie directed by Tim Burton. Batman Returns was a Tim Burton movie with Batman in it.
Like you said, conversation for another
day. It's a conversation for another day because that will be coming up. Hey, coincidentally, nice transition, Joe. Our next episode is episode 150. Yay! As I mentioned last time, 100 episodes ago, we did the best comic book movies ever. That was episode 50. And that was in 2011. So a lot has fucking changed.
There have been a few movies since then.
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Just a couple. Just here. Just here and there. So we're counting them down, the top 20 best comic book based domestic theatrically released movies ever.
Yeah.
So if you want to get your voice heard, you can email us at geeksaladradio@gmail.com. You can post them on our Facebook page, which is Geek Salad Podcast, and our Twitter feed at Geek Salad Radio, or hit us up on our individual Facebook feeds. So, yeah.
Yeah.
This was an interesting list. I really want to take the time to thank everybody.
Yes, very much so.
For giving us the votes. Really, thanks for coming through, especially at the end. Just to kind of really cinch up this list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff here, so thank you so very much.
Yeah, I'd like to thank some of the people from the Nerd United 1 podcast.
Thank you.
Regular appearance on.
You make a regular appearance on them.
Yes, thank you.
All right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I've only been up since
I speak
7.
English good.
He knows speaking good like you and me. He can say exactly 3 words. I and Ann and Groot. Exclusively in that order. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Joe.
Go forth and be nerdful. Talk to you later.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!